Are you listening?
Welcome back to the Nerf Report. My name is Bryant, and before we dive into today's show, do me a quick favor and hit that like button, and if it's your first time here, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. The Nerf Report is quickly becoming one of the leading outlets for all things cloud gaming. Google Stadia, Amazon Luna, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and GeForce Now. We are posting awesome videos twice a day, and trust me when I say this, you do not want to miss out on that. And for today's show, we are talking about... Jesus Christ. What did they do now? Over the weekend, Kotaku ran an article called Metroid Dread is already running great on Switch emulators, in which they covered how even though Metroid Dread just launched on October 8th, on October 10th, less than 2 days later, the game has already been uploaded to emulator websites where it can be played. Well, I mean, that doesn't seem too bad. I mean, they're kind of reporting on the news. I mean, I get where they're... What's that? Oh. Apparently, there is more. In the article, Kotaku also broke down how emulator websites like Yuzu and Ryujinx currently have the game available for players to play, and closed out the article by saying, and I quote, "Thank God for pirates, emulators, modders, and hackers." Thank God for pirates. You know, I don't want to jump into this too abruptly, so just let me try to make sense of this. I mean, Captain Jack Sparrow is a cool pirate, but he also placed a curse on his entire crew that turned them into skeletons, sunk multiple ships, and caused millions in damage to the Royal British Navy, so not that cool. Napster was a cool pirating music website that launched hundreds of new artists, but nearly crippled the music industry and caused the record industry to lose billions of dollars, so not that cool. Thank God for pirates. I mean, at this point, the only pirate that we should be thankful for is Patchy the Pirate, but as I'm saying that, I'm kind of realizing that that statement could age horribly. Patchy, please don't be a monster. Now, after suffering severe backlash, Kotaku did what anybody would do and update the article to say an earlier version of this story was understood by many readers to be a direct suggestion to illegally download this just released game. We regret this interpretation. Kotaku believes emulation is a vital part of the world of gaming, not least when it comes to game preservation. While not directly encouraging anyone to break the law and download games they have not purchased, we believe our readers are intelligent adults capable of making such choices for themselves independently of us. You know, I've heard a lot of adjectives used to describe Kotaku's audience, and intelligent adults, well, that definitely is a new one. Now, what I'm about to say is probably going to shock some of you, but I do agree with Kotaku here. Emulations and game preservations are extremely important for the video game industry. That being said, when a game has released less than 48 hours ago and you pirate it by using emulators and say, "Hey man, it's all about the preservation process," I do have to ask the question, what do you know that we don't? Like, game preservation is primarily used for consoles or games that are either no longer in production or extremely hard to come by. And to preserve these experiences, emulators are created to replicate those consoles and their games on a PC, allowing new and future gamers to experience these old classics forever. But for many, including myself, the line between preservation and piracy is extremely small, because oftentimes games are uploaded to emulators or emulating websites without the consent of the original developer, resulting in their intellectual property being accessed by thousands of non-paying customers. And legally speaking, we have never had a modern-day court case on the legality of emulators. I mean, the closest thing we had was Sony v. Universal Studios, when the courts ruled that Sony's VCRs were legally allowed to record movies and TVs so viewers could preserve the broadcast for later viewing. But, and this is important to note, the courts assumed that homeowners would later erase those tapes, not upload them to a website where they could be accessed by millions of other users for free. And in the case of Metroid Dread, I mean, it released less than 72 hours ago. So to say that you uploaded this to an emulating website because you're doing it in the name of game preservation, man. And my response to that would be, well, pardon my Spanish, but Como se dice, bullshit. Because right now, you can go to any major retailer and find copies of Metroid Dread. And even if you want to go digital, the game is currently available on the Nintendo eShop. So in this case, preservation of this game isn't really an issue because it's readily available. Unless, and this is bringing me back to an earlier question, what do you game preservationists know, huh? Is the world about to end? Is Nintendo about to go under? Is my Nintendo library safe? Did cloud gaming on the Nintendo Switch usher in the gaming apocalypse? And unfortunately, for these reasons, for me, Metroid Dread being listed on these emulation websites is hard for me to see in any other shade than piracy. And piracy like this can have real-world consequences, like users playing this game for free online and not buying the game, thus supporting the developer by buying their game that they spent years to create, a game that if the developer doesn't turn a profit on, will likely result in them not creating another version of it. I mean, that is the sad reality of today's world. If it doesn't make money, oftentimes it can't live. Just like Kotaku. If every Kotaku reader were to use ad blocker and prevent the website from making any ad revenue, it would likely result in them having to greatly downsize or potentially even shut down. Now, I want to be extremely clear here, because I'm not saying that everyone should go use ad blocker on Kotaku. I'm simply reporting on how businesses need to make a profit in order to succeed. And I trust that my audience, just hold on a sec, I want to make sure I get this correct. I trust that my audience is intelligent adults capable of making such choices for themselves independently of us. But all of that aside, I do think that this entire situation brings up a very valid debate. At what point should game preservation be allowed for video games? Obviously, games shouldn't be uploaded to emulating websites at launch, because as we discussed, it can have some major repercussions for the developer. But what if we said that 10 years after the release of a game, it can be emulated? Or what if developers all agreed on one organization to be designated as the centralized emulating hub? I'm really interested to hear your thoughts here, so please let me know what you're thinking in the comment section down below. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, which who wouldn't, hit the subscribe button right there. And while you're down there, hit the like button. Maybe even consider becoming a Nerf Report best friend, just like the people listed down below did. In fact, don't you want to see your name there? I know I do.